Hello, everybody. This is Gerald Celente, and it's Wednesday, February 22nd, 2023. And we are very honored to have with us again the man of men who knows the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. I'll put him up against anybody, anywhere in America, Judge Andrew Napolitano, who fights for freedom, peace, liberty, and justice. Judge, thanks so much for being with us today on this February 22nd.
Pleasure to be with you, and forgive a little over-enthusiastic priest with Ash Wednesday ashes this morning.
Amen. And hey, women.
Deacon Celente, where are your ashes?
You know, Judge, today is February 22nd. This is the cover of the Trends Journal, February 22nd, 2022, last year. From Ukraine war, from COVID war to Ukraine war to World War.
You know, when your control room person put that up a few seconds before we came on air, I thought that was this week's Trends Journal. That's a year ago predicting precisely where we are today.
Yep. And the bottom line, talk of peace prohibited. You're not allowed to talk about peace. And your article that's coming out tomorrow, War and the Constitution. Can the president fight any war he wishes? Can Congress fund any war it chooses? Are there constitutional and legal requirements that must be first met before war is waged? Can the United States legally attack any ally? These questions should be front and center in a debate over the U.S. involvement in Ukraine. Sadly, there's been no great debate. The media are mounting what the CIA is telling them, and only a few websites and podcasts, yours, mine, Judging Freedom, and others, among them the few, are challenging the government's reckless, immoral, illegal, and unconstitutional war. Reckless, immoral, illegal, and unconstitutional war. And
Reckless.
where are the people? Where are the people standing up and fighting for our freedom?
You know, I'm mystified by this. Where's Bernie Sanders and AOC on the left? And where are our friends Rand Paul and Thomas Massie, the libertarians? I don't hear a peep from anybody in Congress. No one in the mainstream media, you and I and Lou Rockwell and people at the level in the media where we are. You just don't hear any serious debate about this. Reckless, because it's going to bring us to World War III, which will mean the destruction of millions, maybe tens of millions, the annihilation of millions of innocents. Immoral, because we have no beef with Russia. They haven't threatened us. They haven't come near us militarily. They don't pose a military threat for us. Illegal, because Congress hasn't declared war, because there's no legal basis for it to declare war. Unconstitutional, because the president can't do this on its own. Reckless, immoral, illegal, unconstitutional. Now, those arguments were made on Sunday at the anti-war rally in Washington, D.C., where you were one of the featured speakers, but you don't hear it. You don't hear it, Gerald. And I'm mystified. Where is the anti-war left and where are the anti-war libertarians in the Congress? They are silent. Why? Where's the German government humiliated when the American Navy and CIA attacked it and destroyed the Nord Stream pipeline? Humiliated that Cy Chase, a single, dogged, determined, courageous, brilliant investigative reporter, beat the billionaire-funded mainstream media to the truth first. Who knows if Joe Biden even told the Chancellor of West Germany that he did it? But how could he? How could he simply accept it? They continue to blame it on Russia. The only person who told the truth in that affair was Vladimir Putin himself. It's disgusting. It's sickening. And every time we talk about this, every week, Gerald, it's a step closer to annihilation, a step closer to war. I don't want to be able to say I told you so, because when you and I say I told you so, it'll be too late.
Yeah. Biden, again, it's the current cover of the Trends Journal. And when you look at it, it shows you what a traitor Joe Biden is to the founding fathers. No foreign entanglements. F you, Washington. On President's Day, rather than being in America and honoring the founding fathers, Joe Biden says, screw you, Washington. Who are you? What no foreign entanglements? I'm going to Ukraine, giving them another $500 million to keep bloodying the killing fields. What's his name? Flynn. I think his name Flynn. A former worked for Trump.
Oh, General Flynn, the one that the FBI indicted because they didn't like what he said in a conversation.
Yeah. He was just reported in Gateway Pundit on Monday saying that Biden traveled to Ukraine 12 or 13 times in his last year as vice president.
Wow, that's once a month. What the hell for?
Yeah. Now we're going back to what, 2016?
Yes.
When was the coup? 2014?
Right.
So it's right after the coup. And remember Hunter Biden? Yeah, the drug addict, that Hunter Biden, that gets the job with Burisma Energy.
Yeah.
In Ukraine, and reportedly made $11 million.
Wow. Well, this is something, I'm not crazy about all these investigations. They can be witch hunts, but this one doesn't seem like a witch hunt. This is something Republicans in the House should investigate. If there were crimes committed, the statute of limitations has run, because those federal crimes have a 5-year statute of limitations. But nevertheless, the public has the right to know what was Joe doing there? What was he involved with?
Yeah,
if anything,
yeah,
in that time period. General Flynn is, in my opinion, correct. And I'm assuming, he's correct to say this should be investigated. I'm assuming he's correct on the number of flights. His last job in the military was as head of the Defense Intelligence Agency. That's another CIA, but it's exclusively military. So even though they snoop all over the place, he probably knows what he's talking about. He probably can back up what he said. If push came to shove, he probably could tell you the dates that Joe actually flew there, because his people would have that information. And because he was the vice president, he went with an entourage of security. So there'd be records of that level of movement of humanity accompanying and protecting him every time he went there.
Yeah. So what is Biden's great love for Ukraine? That's not my country.
Well, he can't answer this question. When he promised in his speech in Ukraine, right wherever he gave the speech, it looked like it was outside of a basilica or outside of a grand government palace. And when he made the same speech or a similar speech in Warsaw the next day, he provided all the aid that's necessary, quote, for as long as it takes, close quote. As long as it takes to do what? What is the goal of America spending $100 billion in Ukraine? Is it the removal of Russian troops from eastern Ukraine and Crimea? That is a militarily impossible goal to achieve. Is it the removal of Vladimir Putin from office in Moscow? That is another militarily impossible goal to achieve. The law requires that military goals be reasonable, clearly articulated, and attainable. So, Mr. President, what is your goal? He can't answer that. He'll give you some nebulous answer like defending freedom. Freedom? You're talking about Nazism in Ukraine? Freedom? He can't answer the question, Gerald. Neither can his people answer the question. There's an interesting piece on CNN.com this morning about fissures finally starting to show amongst Republicans. I'm not particularly a fan of Governor DeSantis of Florida. I think he's another big government Republican. However, he did say he supports zero aid to Ukraine for the reasons that you and I have been articulated. So he is the first, shall we say, top of the fold name Republican to come out and say that.
Well, that's good. But yeah, this is Biden, what he said in his speech over there. Quote, when Russia invaded, you ready? It was not just Ukraine being tested. The whole world faced a test for the ages. The whole world? They weren't threatening anybody.